Do you feel like there's something invisible kind of holding you back and not letting you progress? We're going to talk about it on today's podcast.
I've spent the last 20 years studying, teaching, and coaching people to find their greatness and take their lives to the next level. Along the way, it's become evident that emotions are at the root of everybody's successes and failures. Worry and fear are the enemies, and it's time to forge the armor and earn the tools to overcome the two things that could single-handedly destroy your future. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson, and I'm a life coach, a peak performance trainer, and I'm the emotions guy. It's time to take back control of how you feel, control of how you act, and control of how you experience life. It's time to become a lifer, a new breed of overachiever focused on living every minute to its fullest. We are responsible for how we feel, and no one and no thing can make us feel anything. Emotional mastery is our journey, and emotional education and intelligence is the key. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life.
What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast, and I'm excited that you joined me today because today we're going to talk a little bit about that invisible wall, that little thing that seems to get in your way and sort of hold you back from maybe finishing the job, maybe completing the journey. Not that there is a completion to the journey, but I mean, honestly, what is it that might be stopping you from actually attaining all the things that you know you deserve? Now, that's a funny thing because ironically, it could actually be that you don't think you deserve it, or that you don't think you're worth it, or that maybe something along the way said that you had to sacrifice more, or that you had to give up more, or be something more than you are. And while we can definitely improve, there's always room to improve. There's always room to take our world and our life to the next level. I think sometimes people use that as a excuse to be able to not move forward or not get the things that they know they deserve. And that's a big deal. I mean, that's a really big deal when it comes to attaining some of the high-end goals that we really should be attaining. And so I want to talk to you a little bit today about that and about this concept and idea that we are indeed more worth and worthy of attaining the things that we are shooting after. It could be all sorts of things. It could be family stuff. It could be maybe it's work stuff, business goals, monetary goals, could be material items, things like that. We have to get to a place where we can allow those things to come in. And I know that may sound interesting, right? This allowing idea, but I would like to equate it to, let's say, a quarterback and a receiver. Now, if you're not a football player or a football fanatic or fan, just hang with me for a second, because I think you'll understand this. We all know that the quarterback throws the football to the receiver. Now, the quarterback really, for all intents and purposes in this metaphor, isn't really any good without the receiver. The receiver has to run the route, and he has to do the exact route. Now, sometimes the quarterbacks throw the ball to where the receiver is going to be, and it's the receiver's job to ditch the defender and get to that spot and catch the ball. Now, the best quarterback-receiver combos do that amazingly. In fact, they oftentimes show the statistics of when that quarterback let go of the ball, that the receiver wasn't anywhere near where he was going to catch it, which means that the quarterback had to know that he was going to throw the ball to a spot, and he had to trust that the receiver was going to get there. Now, let's take this a step further. The receiver, when he's going out there, runs to the spot, counts on the ball being there, turns around at the right exact moment, and catches the ball. Now, the receiver's job is to allow that quarterback to throw him the ball. Now, that seems funny, right? But if the receiver doesn't run the route, if the receiver doesn't do what was planned, there's only so many times a quarterback will throw you the ball. before he says, you know what, you didn't follow through. You didn't actually end up where you were supposed to. And I threw that ball there and you weren't there. Now, the funny part about this metaphor is that you are the quarterback and you are the receiver. And in so many instances, we will create. And I know I'm talking to probably a good number of entrepreneurs out there. And we have been known a time or two to create some things. That's a definite thing. We have been known to create some ideas. Some have failed, some have succeeded, some go farther than others. But we also tend to beat up on ourselves when we create something and it doesn't actually follow through. It doesn't actually, the ball doesn't get caught. And the funny part is that sometimes it's us, okay? 100% of the time it's us that we don't catch the ball. We set a project in motion, we set an idea or concept in motion, and for some reason we don't allow that ball to be caught. And that's a big deal, right? Because if we don't make it possible to catch that ball, then of course there's no touchdown to be scored. Now, there are a few things in the way on this metaphor, so understand it's just a metaphor, right? It's just a way to think about it. So the question is, what is in your way? Well, in that metaphor, there are defenders in the way. There are a lot of defenders. A few of them want to kill the quarterback, and you felt like that as an entrepreneur. Sometimes when you're creating the idea or you're developing the project or getting the assignments and getting everything running, feels like there's a defense out there trying to crunch you. On the flip side, there's a defender for the receiver. Sometimes there's two defenders on the receiver and they don't want you to get the ball, right? And in our case, the defenders tend to be our doubts, our self-doubts, our misperception about how it is that we are at this thing. Are we good at it? Are we bad at it? Have we succeeded at it before? Have we not succeeded? Right? And so there's a lot in that tends to be our defenders, and we kind of have to plow through that. Now, there's a lot of ways to do that. You can make the defenders disappear. Now, how cool would that be? If you could have a quarterback-receiver combo and the receiver goes out to catch the ball and there were just no defenders. That would be pretty neat. In our metaphor and in what we're talking about, wouldn't that be cool if we could just get rid of the resistance, right? Isn't that what the defenders are supposed to do? They're supposed to cause resistance so that it's harder to catch the ball. Well, in our case, there is no actual defender. The people that are in your way are probably not actually in the way. The challenges that are in your way are probably also not actually in your way. It's probably stuff that you just currently don't know the solution for or currently don't know how to deal with. And so what we would talk about in this particular instance is that, well, you're in the way. You are your actual defender. And so we've got to get rid of those things. So how do we do that? Right? This is a lot of great metaphors, and it's a way for us to chat about this and to talk about how it all comes together, how it all works. But how do we get rid of these internal demons or defenders, so to speak? Well, one, you have to believe in what you're doing, right? The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. So we've got to get a certain belief and level of knowledge that you're going to succeed. And there have been projects and things that you do all the time where you knew you were going to succeed, so there was no question about it. But then there have been projects that you've created and things that you've started where maybe you were uncertain, and that uncertainty actually led you to the failure of that project. So there is definitely a trend there. The things that you believe in, the things that you absolutely know are going to come true, those things tend to happen. The things that you're uncertain about, we oftentimes are building our own resistance. And so if we can take down the resistance, so that's the next point. How can we get rid of the resistance? How can we get rid of the defenders, right? Whether they're our own demons or other problems that are coming up along the way. How can we get rid of that resistance? Well, that's a good question. There are some really beautiful ways to do it. There are lots of ways to do it. Oftentimes, getting in your zone is a huge way of accomplishing this. One of those ways to get into zone is by doing something in the arts. doing something creative, doing something that allows you to feel like, hey, you know what? I've got this. I can take control of my destiny. And usually something in the arts, music, painting, dancing, something in the arts usually helps you get to that space. Another great thing is meditation. 15 minutes of meditation can take you a long, long way. And so I definitely would encourage that. Another way to get rid of some of the resistance is to be grateful and thankful, not just for the things that are going well, but for the challenges that are coming your way. That may seem ludicrous, but the truth in the matter is this is a concept that has been around for ages. Really, people have been trying to get the general populace to understand the power of gratitude for a millennia. And that's evident in all of the books that you find. You can look back through all of the religious books, and there is some form of gratitude that is expressed as a secret or a magic pill, or the magic behind being able to create things that are good. And sometimes if you can appreciate the challenge that you're going through, it actually relieves the resistance that is causing the challenge, and the solutions start to make themselves available to you. And so that's what I would like to sort of end with is, hey, let's figure out some things. If you're an entrepreneur out there, if you're a creator of some sort out there, let's see what we can do in the arts. Get your favorite music, get your favorite painting stuff out, draw, create some music. If you play music, play music. Spend some time every day meditating. This is going to be huge, right? And most of all, find a way to be grateful, not just for the obvious things, but for the things that are challenges. Figure out how to be thankful for the stuff that's a challenge. Now, you'll notice my background. I'm outside. It's a lovely day. It's a beautiful, a little chilly, but not too bad. The winter's melting away, fading away, and so it's starting to get a little warmer. And I don't usually film or record my episodes outside, but today I had to roll with the punches. My building and space is getting sort of redone, repainted, fresh coat of paint, and the inside has just been crazy. For about 4 days, we've been challenged by getting on the internet, by our computers were moved here, moved there, all our stuff's being moved around, the whole building was being painted, and what do? You just have to adjust, you have to adapt. And so for those of you listening today, sorry if the wind's a little loud, but you know what? The message is important. We had to get the message out. And so anyway, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you listening. If you know somebody that needs to hear this message today, please share it with them. Don't forget #Magic for Life, and don't forget to like and subscribe down below if you're watching the video. If you aren't watching the video, go subscribe on YouTube and watch. We'll get you the notifications for when we post content, and we'd love to have you. So anyway, I sure appreciate you. Go find some magic for life. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Happiness is a choice. Sadness is a choice. All emotions are a choice. Sometimes doing our emotions doesn't seem like it's our choice, but it is. You have control. You are the captain of your ship, and you must learn how to be the best captain you can be. Let me show you how. Pick up your free copy of my new book, Every Minute, at everyminutebook.com.